Welcome everybody to our Thursday morning virtual coffee chat. And we are going to be discussing procrastination today. I put that out in the group and there's people that have this problem. And I know we've all dealt with it from time to time, but this is what our topic is today. Of course, if you were seeing this on the replay, give us a hashtag replay in the comments. And of course, tell us your aha moments. So without further ado, I am going to let our guests introduce themselves, tell you where they're from, and then we were going to talk about procrastination. All right, let's go.
Hey everyone, I am Vidra Moon all the way from Charleston, South Carolina. Nice to meet you.
And Vidra
yes.
does insurance.
Oh, yes. I am an insurance broker and I'm also a health and wellness coach.
Absolutely. She runs marathons. I'm envious. I can't even hardly run around a block. But I can walk. Now, I love walking. I can walk miles and miles and miles. But that running stuff, not happening. But we're going to talk about procrastination. So, Vidra, what does procrastination look like in your world?
Well, that is something I know very well. Like a lot of times for me, procrastination is just avoiding the things that I need to do and just keep putting it off to later and later. And eventually later never comes. And when I run out of time, then I'm just very stressed about doing what it is I was supposed to do in a shorter amount of time.
So do you find this more with work, with personal, with cleaning the house, or does it go across the board of different kinds of things, or do you find it's more in one area of your life more than others?
It's mainly with work.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's easy to do because you make lots of phone calls, and that's
yeah.
Making them phone calls, I know for anybody is everybody's cross to bear that says, no, I think I'll do that a little later.
I'd rather binge watch something mindless on Netflix.
Yeah. Now for me, it's cleaning the house. If I can get myself in the zone, then I can clean. But the picking up and the organizing and putting things away, I'll do that later.
Well, as far as cleaning the house, what I found helpful for myself is just doing small tasks on a daily basis.
Right.
I don't have to clean the whole house in
Nope.
one day. I could focus on one room and then the next day, perhaps another room, or maybe just even set 30 minutes aside, clean. And once I'm done, move on to the next task.
You've conquered the cleaning thing. I'm just saying. Yes. That's because when it comes to business, I'm about getting it done. I don't put off too much about what I need to do for my business. I do run out of hours to get it all done.
Okay.
But if I could keep adding hours to my day, I'd probably be working a 24-hour day and then adding the 8 hours for sleep onto that.
Okay.
Because I love working. I love doing the working, and I don't put off too much of that. See, that's why I asked what area, because everybody procrastinates. Everybody has an area in their life that they really put off. You know, whether it's disciplining the kids, making them do something they want, or doing their homework, or, you know, we all have the areas. And at different times of our life, it will change.
That is true. Yeah.
You know, so as I tell my mom, because we all know that mom's 90 and I'm helping mom through her last years. Mom is now doing physical therapy. And I told her, well, physical therapy for me is what we call the gym. And I now see the importance that I need to get in the gym and I need to be doing the exercise part, because at 90, it's physical therapy. And mom doesn't want to walk with a walker. So she's going to physical therapy now to try to get some strength in her legs, because she's finding it's hard to even step up a curb.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, you know, the thing is it's easy to put exercise off. You know, I run out of hours between trying to do, the stuff for the online, from my social media and for my business, and then doing the stuff for her, doing, I'm in the last 11 days of my job because, I had the job for my health insurance. And now that I'm 65 and celebrating, I don't have to have the health insurance anymore. I don't have to have a job. I can make all my money very easily in doing multiple streams of income.
Nice.
And that is the bonus. The problem was the insurance. So what are some things that you've either tried, or should we dive into suggestions on how to solve it? Some of our procrastination issues. What you think?
Well, as far as work related, like earlier you mentioned with me making phone calls all day, this week, what I've started doing, instead of stressing over the fact that I'm going to be making phone calls from 9 in the morning, sometimes till 8 in the evening, I take short breaks and I set a schedule, because I don't want to be in the habit of possibly dialing for an hour at 9 a.m., then suppose a 10-minute break turns into a 3-hour break.
Right.
So it's just building that habit of discipline. Just if I'm going to dial from 9 a.m. to 9:50, take a 10-minute break, walk around, come back, and then decide when the long break will be. And you once also suggested that when I have a phone conversation with a friend during the day, just let them know, hey, respect my time. Like a 5-minute conversation, I can't let that turn into a 3-hour conversation, which is easy to do.
It is easy. It's easy to derail any of our things that aren't pleasurable or that aren't as rewarding. Even though it's rewarding in the long term of the financial benefits, it's really hard in the emotional rewards right at that moment. Well, I think we have, I'm not sure where she went, but we have somebody else popping in here. Demetria, are you popping in? I let somebody in. Okay, we're in the chat. All right, well, we'd love to see you and have you part of the conversation. We are talking about procrastination today. In the group, I had put a post about 36 ways to invest in yourself. And we had 2 people who commented so far on the post that said they needed to stop procrastination. So that's what we're talking about today, is procrastination. Love to hear your take on it, or what you do to help, or some of the areas maybe that we're talking about different areas that we each all have our different areas that we procrastinate in. But I did pull up, because I like to be mishelpful. I pulled up on Google, because Google's my best friend, solutions for procrastination, because what works for one person might not work for the other. At work, just listening in, I need to work on procrastination as well. Okay, well, Mr. Demetria, tell us, what area is it? Work that you procrastinate in, or home, cleaning the house? Do you have a specific area that is more prone to your procrastination than others? But while we're waiting for her answer for that, I'm going to read, it says 10 strategies for combating procrastination. So here are some 10 strategies that might help you out in this area. Take control of your study environment or your work environment. If you're in a workplace, make it a place that is free from distractions. So in other words, you don't have one of these little games that plays or maneuvers on your desk. You kind of move, you get rid of the distractions that might be on your desk or your work area. It says make a to-do list. Now, I've heard pros and cons on the to-do list. To me, the biggest strategy with a to-do list is you make your to-do list, but that you prioritize it, and you do it in what priority it gets you to your goal faster. All right, Demetria, who's noisy? I think that.
I think it was her.
Yeah. All right, I muted her. Okay. She might have accidentally, but okay. So I find that prioritizing to me would be the better venue if you're going to use a to-do list, because to-do lists make you feel like, okay, I'm going to put the ones I can get it all checked off on. And that way, if I can make 10 things and I can check it off, I can feel better, right? But if those 10 things do not help you make money or get you to the goal of whatever you're trying to accomplish, what good is it, right?
Yeah.
So that would be my that would be my suggestion on the to-do list. Make a to-do list and then put the number one, prioritize it, and do the things first that get you closer to your goal. All right. It says establish a routine. What is a routine? No, Miss, what would your definition of a routine be, Miss Vidra?
Well, a routine is just a daily set of activities that you do on a daily basis.
Right. So do you
And
have
I
to
did
think about
actually,
all of them?
pardon?
I said, do you have to think about all of them for them to be in a routine?
Well, it makes it a lot easier if I do the same things every day.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like working out is definitely a routine, and I do that first thing in the morning. It's a lot easier for me to work out in the morning, whereas if I put it off till later in the day, it's easy not to do it.
Right. So would you say that's your habit?
Yes, it's a habit.
That was kind of what I was trying to hint at, is that routines are in conjunction with habits.
Okay.
And because in your routines, you're still, if you do them over and over and over again, then they become a habit.
That is true. Yes.
And habits become where you don't even think about them. When you have to physically think about your routine, okay, I'm doing this, then I'm doing that. That takes a lot more energy. Whereas when you do it often enough and it becomes part of your habits, then you just start walking through it. It's kind of like getting out of bed. Where's the first place you go? You don't have to think about it. It's kind of your habit. Getting the coffee. Was the coffee made the night before? You get the cup out, you get your whatever Joe you're going to use to wake your day up. It's your habits. So that's why they talk about your routines or your habits will either make or break your success. So it also helps with the procrastination, because if it becomes part of your habit, then you're not thinking about it, because procrastination happens when you think about it too much, right?
Oh, I didn't think of it that way. That is true. Yes.
So if you work at making your routines and building things into habits, and you don't sabotage yourself by thinking about it. Because if I think about it, then I might talk myself out of it, right?
Yes.
All right. So this is the one. This is the one I think is really good.
Okay.
Self-bribery. Give yourself rewards. I can watch TV for half an hour. Once I finish reading 100 pages, doing 100 calls, self-bribery.
I love that.
I need the. Okay, so divide and conquer is the next solution. Break larger tasks into smaller units. So thereby you eliminate the daunting. If it's a big task, it's kind of like eating an elephant. You can't eat an elephant all in one bite, but you can take it and do little chunks of it at a time. So you divide and conquer. If you have a big task that might take you all day, you start doing littler ones and working through it, or one for a whole week. Yeah. Because if you think of starting a task and it's huge, then you could procrastinate and not starting it. So if you know it's a big task, you might divide it up and say, okay, if I do this part today, I'll do that part tomorrow. You make a plan. Use a planner for time management. That's another one of its solutions. There again, like you said, Vidra, you do so many calls, you give yourself a 10-minute break. When you use your planner and you have things scheduled, it makes it easier for you to say, okay, I have a 10 o'clock appointment. I have an 11 o'clock appointment, so I can do this until then. But it keeps you on track because you said, I can't get lost in something because I got that 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So if you use a planner and you schedule things that you need to get, that you have to show up for, it helps you stay on track of not the shiny object syndrome, right?
Yes.
Okay. Use the 10-minute rule. When you have trouble getting started, select a specific task, such as 3 pages of reading, 20 phone calls, whatever, and say, I'm going to spend 10 minutes doing this without stopping. At the end of 10 minutes, see how much you've done. Keep working in 10-minute blocks until you're satisfied with what you have done. So that's another way that they say, because then you say, oh, I did this 10 minutes. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Then you can do 10 minutes more. Okay. When you finish studying, do one more thing before you quit. So I guess this one's based on homework or being in school. So if you're doing a task, do one more little thing before you actually call it quits to get ahead. What you think of that idea, Miss Vedra?
I like it. I love it.
Okay. So let's see. Well, that one is definitely school-based. It says carry flashcards and notes around with you to studying. Okay.
Well, for me, with the insurance business, that would be helpful, especially with a lot of the objections I come across on the phone.
Well, there again. Okay, then I'm going to read it because I thought it was more school-based and I didn't. Okay, let me read this. Maybe the whole definition or thing will help. It says, carry flashcards, notes, and other study materials with you so that you can make better use of your open time. Standing in line at the grocery store, sitting at red lights,
Yes.
carry the notes around with you to keep refreshing them. I do that with affirmations. All time during I'm driving and whatever, I work on when any open time doing my affirmations. Recite and review your notes while waiting for the bus, riding in the car, standing in line, etc. Okay, that's what objections. Vedra, that is a good way to look at, because objections come in all ways, and when people give them to us, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
And if you've kept going over them and reading them, then they're fresher in your mind.
Yeah.
And when you can say, and I will in one of my programs, and I was going to do a master class last month and I just didn't quite get it done, so maybe we'll get it done this month. It had on persuasive, I had a whole training on persuasive techniques.
Okay.
And in doing persuasive techniques, one of the key things when we talk about objections, and this is what I bring us in here, because one of the techniques for it is to agree with them, agree with everything that they say. You don't ever argue with them, but you agree in a way like, that's a really good point. But this, if we lay it out this way, and this way, or yeah, but think about it as this, this, and this. But your first words out of your mouth whenever they give you the objection is to say, that's a really good point, or I agree with you. Sitting on that side with not knowing what I know, I can see where you would think that.
Yes.
So that's just another plus for me to give to you all, because I thought that was brilliant. I have used that. I read that technique, and I use it a lot in discussions with people, because I read a book a long time ago called Stop Your Lover's Rejection, or Stop Your Divorce or Your Lover's Rejection. And he said there's 5 words. If you use these 5 words, you won't have any problems. And it's the words, you're absolutely right. Same technique, you just use it in relationship talk rather than in business talk.
Okay.
And I didn't know how much I used that inadvertently because I hate arguments. Are you, anybody out there relate? I hate arguments. People argue or start yelling at me, I shut down. I can't
Same.
think fast enough. I have the whole argument after they're gone. I will sit there and tell them, and I can win that argument after they're gone.
Yes.
So I started using, you're right. I just started using that arbitrarily just to get people to not yell at me when I was young, my 20s and stuff, and teens and 20s. Okay. So when I look back on some of the things that happened in my life, I thought, oh, that's why that turned around. Because there's times I'd used that and I was just shocked that it kind of went away. It kind of changed. It's like, oh, I never put two and two together. It's a little blonde thing, I hadn't read the psychology of it. So it didn't make sense, but I did it because I hate arguing. So that's another thing. Carry notes around and study the things that you need to know for your job, for whatever you have going on in your life, because a lot of us have things that we're trying to make goals for, because most of all the people here in our community are entrepreneurs and people trying to make money, right? So
Yes.
the things you need to know about your products, put them on note cards. If you're one of these people who can't remember all the things about your products, what they're good for, what they solve, make yourself note cards and carry them and read them in the open time. All right. Last but not least, it says do two things at once. Now, us women love to try to do that. Two things at once. Combine reciting and reviewing with another activity. Recite terms and definitions while you are jogging or having your lunch.
Okay.
Same thing like the note cards in the open time. It's there again about combining. So I hope that helps anybody.
Well, that definitely helps me. It definitely gives me an idea, because usually when I run to get ready for my half marathons, I run on my treadmill, and I've been listening to affirmations, so I could possibly also maybe just learn about the different insurance products that I sell, because with insurance, there's just so many options, so many products. I'm constantly learning, so I could do that while I'm on my treadmill.
Well, that's what it's saying is, one of the, I took Robin Banks's program, and he talks about doing affirmations in the shower. He says, we all shower. He says, use your bathroom time, brushing your teeth, do your affirmations while you're doing those things.
Yes.
I'm just saying, move your affirmations to your shower, use your treadmill time for learning your solutions and stuff, or the different things with the insurance, because that's insurance and regulations and the way the laws and the legal stuff with it can all be changing.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, that was my discussion. You agree? Very good, Demetria. I'm glad that you agree. So do we want to, any other insights or anything else? You have any questions? Anything else we want to talk about in the community? Demetria, did you want us to, anything you want comment wise that you have that you want us to talk about? Okay. Trying to watch the chat.
Well, something else that I did also read about procrastination, I think when you put something off till later, it's about avoiding stress, and you're just more focused on the right now instead of the long-term repercussions. I'm not sure if I'm actually saying that right. So you just more focused on having pleasure right now instead of the long-term effects.
Or could it be the fear of failing when you do it?
That is true, possibly as well.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people don't start stuff because they're really almost afraid of being successful in it, or they're afraid of what other people will think if they do it. So fear can be another, to me, fear is probably the biggest part of procrastination. I was looking at solutions. I didn't look up the definition of reasons for procrastination,
Okay.
because the reasons for procrastination can be a lot of different things. I was more based on solutions, since we were talking about how to stop
Exactly.
procrastination. But I want to say fear is the biggest contributor to procrastination. And so when you find yourself procrastinating, a simple way is, what am I afraid of? And it might take you asking that a few times till you truly find the answer within yourself of what it is that you're either afraid of. To me, for the longest time, I was afraid of the consequences.
Okay.
I would get stuff done. I would do stuff because I was afraid of the consequences of doing it. But I was raised by a very strong mother, and not doing was, I'm saying, when I didn't do things, there were consequences to not doing them.
Okay.
So I think fear, and some people, this world is not really based too much on rewards. And so some people don't look at what are the rewards or think in terms of rewards. They think in terms of the failure or the fear of what happens if they don't do it, or getting it done, like you said, putting it off because it's not pleasant, and then having to really rush and stress and playing catch up and getting it done.
Yes.
Very good. Miss Demetria says she agrees about the fear. She said she's been procrastinating on completing another book.
Oh.
Well, because and there again, it's what will other people think of it? If you're uncomfortable, maybe it's a different area from your first book. But you have to feel, if you wrote it, you have to step up and say, I believe in what I wrote. I did it. And as I gotten to an age, maybe it's being 65, hell with everybody else. If I'm happy with what I've done, my opinion of myself counts more than everybody else's opinion. Doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. And I got to that, when you have a special needs child and people want to judge you, and they want to tell you what you're doing wrong or how you can improve, or what different parts of things. I said, you know what? You spend a week in my shoes. You go through all of this a week in my shoes, and then you see how you feel about it, and if you can do it any better.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no manuals on being a parent, on being a good employee. There's no manual on how you, with all your emotions and all your own baggage, what you should be doing step by step on how to be the most successful.
Yeah.
We have to kind of do it trial and error, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, anything else we want to talk about?
Oh, no, thank you. Like, those were some very helpful solutions. I took some notes so that I can remember it.
Well, as I tell people, Google is my best friend. I have books on solutions and this and that, but I didn't pull them out. I just went to Google and said, what are some solutions? Because the thing is this is what the whole coffee chat is supposed to be about, is about us all talking and giving our perspective on different parts of a problem or different types of solutions to a problem. And if you haven't seen the 36 ways, that was just one part of stop putting it off. It's living today, doing for today, so that you can be proud, your future self can enjoy a life that you that you can dream about. And it doesn't happen by putting stuff off.
No, it doesn't.
So until next week. Now, next week, I was hoping Deb was on earlier when I was on my other presentation. She didn't manage to get back here. I have to be in court, and so I will not be available for the Thursday. I'm going to talk to Deb about hosting it again. And if she can, I know her father's, her father's real sick. And I don't know with that going on if she's going to be able to do it. So I'm not sure if we will be meeting next Thursday or not. I know it won't be with me, but if I can find somebody else to host it, unless Miss Vidra, you want to host it?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the offer, but I'm actually going to be out of town myself, and I'm not sure what time. So I did want to reschedule our Monday morning chat as well. A friend and I, we're driving to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee on Monday.
That'll be fun. Oh, fun. Certainly, sweetie. We can do that. That's not a problem. But I will figure out, I will get with Miss Deb and see if she's available for next Thursday. If not, then we'll meet in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I mean, unless court was canceled the last time, it was rescheduled, and but it was on a different day. So I don't imagine that happening this time. They said that it would be heard one way or the other when we go on the 8th. So I'm imagining that I will be there for 3, 4, 5 hours. Oh, while they, take care of that. You can't leave mid court case. You can't leave. But anyway, thanks everybody. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions or any topics you'd like us to discuss in the community, send them right over. I would love for us to dive in and give some guidance. Y'all take care. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Karen Thomas. But guess what? That is not important. What's important is your success online. I can help you start a successful, thriving business online, no matter how many times you have failed. If you have a desire to win, you can. All you need is Wi-Fi, a laptop or desktop, and be able to follow simple directions. Reach out to me and I can show you exactly how.